about
I couldn't tell what they were talking about. I mean, my husband likes that MMA fighting. It looked like a cage fight to me. It just like this person's fighting that person, and that person's fighting that person. And I didn't hear a lot of policy. You know, you want to talk about the border and immigration. Well, you want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. So what is your plan for health care?
They addressed all these issues.
I didn't hear.
You might not have.
I didn't hear policy.
I don't know about you, but I tried to watch that Republican debate the other night, and it was a challenge. It was boring at best, disinteresting at worst. But nevertheless, they did give some substance in their arguments. But to the ladies on The View, that wasn't good enough. See, you have to understand something about The View, and especially about some of the hosts on The View. Their target audience are suburban white women or suburban women that are at home during the day. Caregivers, mothers, and sometimes some deadbeat men that don't work. That's their target audience. So when they communicate these things on this show, like for example, Trump is evil, Trump is the devil, Trump is Hitler, they're doing that to plant that seed in the minds of suburban women. For example, listen to the reaction of the ladies on The View to the Republican debate.
I couldn't tell what they were talking about. I mean, my husband likes that MMA fighting. It looked like a cage fight to me. It just like this person's fighting that person, and that person's fighting that person. And I didn't hear a lot of policy. You know, you want to talk about the border and immigration. Well, you want to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. So what is your plan for health care?
They addressed all these issues.
I didn't hear.
You might not have.
I didn't hear policy.
They have a health care plan?
No.
Yeah, they did. They answered the question. I don't necessarily agree with what they answered, but they did talk about health care.
They talked about it, but no answers, no real policies. And so that's problematic. And
Here's my problem with Nikki Haley. Here's my problem. You know, when people say, well, what have you done? I wanted to know what she done, really. What policies at the UN, because that's her.
She's a successful two-term governor.
She was okay. She was an okay. Wait a minute. She was an okay governor. She wasn't a great governor. And you may think she's the cat's meow. I do not. So that when I listen to her, I want to hear somebody say, and here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do.
Did you guys all watch? I thought she did that.
I don't feel that.
I'm also doing it in contrast to Trump, you guys. When you say she's a hypocrite, I'm like, I'll still take her over a Donald Trump.
It was a Republican debate.
I don't want any of them.
It was a Republican debate.
Listen, I listen to Republicans. Listen, I've been sitting listening to you, and I've been quiet for everybody. So I'm just saying.
No, you do listen to
I try.
You do.
You know, and I didn't hear the thing that I needed to hear as an American.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about this and this? I don't want to know about the wars,
Medicare,
immigration, the wars that culture wars. I don't want to hear anybody else talking about culture wars.
So as you can see, obviously, it's like a beauty salon where people just talking over each other and just yelling and nobody makes any sense. But I want to specifically talk about one of the people on that show, Sunny Hostin. I've made a few videos about Sunny Hostin, right? And Sunny Hostin is the resident black activist on this show. But it's so funny because Sunny is biracial. Oh yes, she has a white mother. But you wouldn't have known that based upon some of the positions that Sunny takes. Sunny's pro-black. But Sunny's so pro-black, it's so funny. A lot of the people that cause the most agitation in the black community are the ones who are biracial. Now, you can be what you want to be. To me, your identity should be in Christ. It shouldn't be in your skin tone, your ethnicity. My identity is in Christ. But Sunny Hostin is the main one that talks against things that benefit the black community. But she benefits from stuff like that. For example, school choice. Sunny Hostin is against school choice. The majority of black people are for school choice.
Now I want to get to my Nikki Haley part. Everybody thinks Nikki Haley is this, this really interesting woman who is really powerful and has these really great ideas. Well, let me tell you, I think she's a hypocrite. My personal opinion.
Well, yeah.
Now she's championed. She's a
wow. They all agreed with Sunny Hostin that Nikki Haley is a hypocrite. Now you have to listen to why she thinks Nikki Haley is a hypocrite. I'm not the biggest Nikki Haley fan. She represents the establishment. She represents the old guard of the Republican Party, and I'm not down with that. But to call this woman a hypocrite, and listen to why Sunny says that.
Champion of parents' rights. We know what that means when it comes to Florida and when it comes to Texas. It really means that you're giving the right to certain parents to teach their kids what they want their kids taught, but you're taking away from me as a parent what I want my kids to.
That's a lot. Man, Sunny, I'm telling you, she is there. She's the black activist on The View.
To learn. Right. And I want my kids to learn about their history. Yeah. And I think all kids should learn about the history of this country, regardless of whether or not it makes you feel uncomfortable, because the past will become prologue if you don't know your history.
The Republican Party is the party of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln eradicated slavery.
Well,
there are states, let me finish this. There are states in America right now, including my state of Florida, where they are trying to find a positive point of view on slavery and whitewashing black history. That is not a conservative value. Trying to take aid away from Ukraine and abandon Ukraine, that is not a traditional conservative
I can't
value.
let Republicans hide behind the party of Abraham Lincoln, okay? Because the Republican Party hasn't been the party of Abraham Lincoln since Jim Crow, since the Reconstruction, since forever. So let's not twist history around.
There she goes again, lying about the history of the Republican Party. And people who have been with me for a while, who have been on this channel for a while, no, I don't cape up for the Republican Party. But I have to speak the truth. I made a short of talking about this lie that Sunny Hostin just said. Jim Crow was started by the Democrats.
He's promoting education freedom, choice in school, finding what's best for your student. I think that that's hugely important. It's one of the most.
You know why that's a problem? Because what you do is you take money away from the public schools.
Yeah.
Didn't you go to private school?
I went to private school. I had the privilege of going to private school.
But then why shouldn't all students
had
get
the
that
privilege
access?
of going to public school, but private school?
Exactly. You see, Sunny Hostin went to a private school, just like Barack Obama sent his children to a private school. He's against school choice, just like Joe Biden probably sent his children to a private school. They're against school choice. All of these liberals who are against school choice have the choice to send their children to private school, but yet they want to deny that choice to black children who are tired of being victims. You want to deny that choice to them and continue to send them to these schools that get the funding, that get all of these resources that you claim they don't get, but yet they still fail. And then, getting back to Sunny Hostin and why she hates Nikki Haley, here's why she thinks she's a hypocrite.
I would love to see some Republicans who are credible.
Who on your side is credible enough
And can pass the primary.
Can pass the primary and can be in the general.
I think we've got some if they're willing to challenge Trump. I'd love to see Nikki Haley. I'd love to see Liz Cheney. I'd love to see
Nikki
Chris
Haley, the
Sununu.
chameleon, and Liz Cheney, who's the
Flip-flop.
savior.
I disagree. I think that Nikki Haley was an incredibly effective governor of South Carolina. Wait, Alyssa, I have a question for you. Aside from Ron DeSantis, a lot of people don't go by their actual real
What
name.
is her name?
I believe it's, I don't want to mispronounce it. It's Indian, but her background's Indian.
Necessarily, I think if she leaned into.
A ton of people don't go by their name. Wait, a serious question. Just real quick, because the Nikki Haley conversation came up. So Nikki Haley's gone by Nikki since she was a child. It's documented in high school. I wouldn't be shocked that as an Indian woman growing up in South Carolina at that time, she actually did to avoid prejudice. So I just want to be careful about critiquing her for going by the name she's always gone by.
There are some of us that can be chameleons and decide not to embrace our ethnicity so that we can pass.
Sunny, I don't think that's fair.
You go by a different name.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Most Americans can't pronounce Asuncion because of the undereducation.
Nimrod, it's hard to say too. I don't blame.
But sometimes I would say what Alyssa's saying is that people gravitate to names for different reasons.
I'm just going to kill this conversation. I am authentically myself. I am Whoopi Goldberg, and we'll be right back.
No, you're not Whoopi. Your real name is Karen Elaine Johnson. You go by Whoopi, okay? But I'm showing this to you to let you know that this is what the liberal media wants suburban women to believe. They have the black activists on The View questioning the integrity of Nikki Haley and speaking to their audience that the Republicans are not offering substance and all they're offering is hate and culture wars. There's a subtle message there. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness.